Hello everyone, Charles Watts here, the Arsenal correspondent at Goal, joining you on what is a pretty miserable Friday morning, isn't it? Oh, where to start with that? Really disappointing night last night for Arsenal. Again, a game they should have won comfortably. Again, they managed to shoot themselves in the foot. And now they have it all to do in the Czech Republic next Thursday, taking a 1-1 draw to Slavia Prague for the second leg. A game they should have been out of sight from. Weren't, not a fantastic performance by any means. In fact, a pretty poor performance, but still they had plenty of opportunities to put this game to bed. They didn't take them. And then in true Arsenal fashion, they shot themselves in the foot at the end. Some awful defending, gave away a set piece, and you know the rest. The same old story for Arsenal. Really disappointing night. And now the season's hanging by a thread, basically, and it shouldn't have been. It was a game that, as I said, they had plenty of chances to win comfortably, even though they didn't play very well. I'd kind of given Slavia Prague a bit of a big build-up in as we got towards the game. Everyone I've spoken to said they're a decent side, played some really good football, caused Arsenal plenty of problems, but to be honest, I didn't think they did. I thought Slavia Prague were pretty poor. They were there for the taking, absolutely there for the taking last night, and Arsenal just didn't finish them off. They had the chances, and they didn't take them. Lacazette missing an absolute sitter. You've seen that already, obviously. Bukayo Saka in the first half, Orba soon after coming on as well. There are other chances that just didn't go their way, and it's just a really disappointing night for Arsenal and for Mikel Arteta, who I thought managed the game very poorly. Bad night for him, bad night for his players, and the one sort of green shoot that we can hang on to really is that the tie is still absolutely there for the taking for Arsenal. They can go to Slavia Prague. They're comfortably good enough to beat Slavia Prague in the Czech Republic. We saw that last night. I don't think Slavia will be anywhere near as bad, so it's going to be a much tougher evening for Arsenal next Thursday night, but Arsenal still got enough to beat them and score the goals they need to make sure they go through. They obviously have to score at least one goal now. We know that because of that late away goal that Slavia got. But Arsenal are more than capable of doing that. We saw they could open them up yesterday, and this was an Arsenal side that played pretty badly last night, and they still opened Slavia up on plenty of occasions. They just didn't take the chances, and just a really disappointing night. I mean, Mikel knew it after the game. The players knew it. I saw Granit Xhaka was absolutely furious after the game at what had happened late on. Cedric should have cleared his lines. We all saw that. This was in the build-up to their goal that led to the set piece. Had a great opportunity to clear it downfield. Didn't. Chose to play it back to Gabriel. Gabriel took a dreadful first touch. Got closed down. The ball went out for a throw-in. From there, Slavia had a chance which they hit the post from. And then from the resulting corner, they scored. And, again, Arsenal just played themselves into trouble when they didn't need to. They didn't see the game out. They didn't manage it properly. And they were made to pay the price. We've seen it time and time again this season. Certainly recently, this run of form Arsenal are on. They haven't kept a clean sheet for God knows how long it is now. It's massive. I think this is the longest run since about 1984 that Arsenal haven't kept a clean sheet from in all competitions. And I don't think they're defending absolutely terribly at the moment. They're just making such horrendous individual errors that are proving to be really costly. And that's something they're going to have to sort out if they're going to want to go on and win this competition, which at the moment is looking difficult. I think, as I said, they've got enough to beat Prague. We saw that yesterday, but then they're going to have to improve a hell of a lot if they're going to get past Villarreal, who it looks they would play in the semi-final. Villarreal getting a 1-0 win over in Zagreb last night. We know that that Unai Emery knows exactly what it takes to win this competition. Although he didn't win it with Arsenal, but he knows how to win this competition. Very experienced in Europe in cup football, and it's going to take an awful lot of a more improved performance for Arsenal to get past a team like Villarreal and a manager like Unai Emery than it is to get through Slavia Prague. So lots to improve on. Is what Mikel had to say after the game. He said what was missing is that when you create big chances in Europe, you have to take them. I think we merited much more than the result that we got when we made the most difficult thing, which was to score the first goal and then just wait for the last 4 or 5 minutes and manage the game much better than we did. We failed to do that, and then we gave them the opportunity in the corner and they scored the goal to tie the match and put us in a different position. Looking back at what happened on the pitch, it's not what we expect. The thing is, though, it is kind of what we expect because we've seen it time and time again from Arsenal, not just under Arteta, but under Wenger, under Emery, and now under Arteta. He had sorted things out defensively, Arteta, and they have improved. They're not conceding anywhere near as many shots as they were, but they just haven't been able to cut out these individual errors, and once again they cost Arsenal last night, and now it's put them in a really difficult position ahead of that second leg. And inevitably questions are going to be asked about Mikel Arteta now. I woke up this morning, what was trending on Twitter? Arteta out. Now, I'm not in the Arteta out brigade at the moment. I think we've certainly got to give him to the end of the season, see what happens in this Europa League. I think we need to give him the summer transfer window as well. I just think you don't want to get into that routine of just sacking managers, going through the churn, starting all over again, sacking managers, starting all over again. No one benefits from that. The club doesn't benefit that. The squad doesn't benefit from that, because you end up having about 4 or 5 different sets of players in the squad that have been brought in by different managers. We've already kind of got that at Arsenal right now. And sacking Arteta is only gonna add to that. But having said that, if results don't improve and performances don't improve, then inevitably questions are going to be asked and the finger is going to be pointed at him. I don't think it's anywhere near that stage yet. But the Europa League, you can't underestimate how important it is to Mikel Arteta. He needs to show he can do something in this competition. And last night, I thought he got it all wrong. Team selection wise, I just don't see how Willian came into it. I did my predicted 11 before the game, and I thought it was either going to be Aubameyang on the left, or it was a perfect opportunity for Martinelli to start Willian, having not played him for a while, to bring Willian into a game like that when you've already got Lacazette as a central striker. Just where's the pace, where's the movement? And it was so obvious, abundantly obvious watching that match. Slavia were playing a high line. Saka on the other side was getting in time and time again behind the fullback and into the space. Yeah, on the other flank, Willian, it just wasn't happening, and it's no real fault of his own. It's not the kind of player he is now. He's obviously at a different age in his career than Saka. He doesn't quite have that explosive pace that Saka has. He wants to come deep and receive the ball, and we saw it time and time again. Whenever it went down the left, Willian wasn't playing on the last shoulder of his man and trying to get into the space. He was coming back, facing away from the goal to receive the ball, and it was all just very, very slow over that side, and it didn't cause them any problems. And it was just clear watching it. You could just see how sort of top heavy or right heavy it was, so to speak, in terms of Arsenal's play. It was all down the right, it wasn't coming down the left, and given how high a line Slavia Prague was playing, you just thought you've got to bring on Martinelli, you've got to bring on Nicolas Pepe, sub Willian. It hasn't worked, but get on Pepe, get on Martinelli, and really exploit that space in behind and cause Slavia Prague problems, because you could see they couldn't deal with it. Whenever Saka got in down the right, they were all over the shop. And he just didn't do it. It just went on and on. You thought at half time, he's got to make a change, make it early. You can see that it's not working. Slavia are there for the taking. Finish them off, make the change that needs to be made. And yeah, he didn't do it. He kept Willian on. I think he eventually did it with about 20 minutes to go. Martinelli came on. It just felt far too late for me from that. It had to be at half time. Yet I think it was so clear how you could hurt Prague. And what they didn't want to face, and yet he just kept it. It just went on for ages and ages and ages, and and then it took 78 minutes for Aubameyang and Pepe to come on. It just felt like you could see the space was there. Don't bring Lacazette off, put Aubameyang as a central striker, bring Willian off, play Pepe or play Martinelli on the left hand side. Get players on who are going to run at them, play on the last man, and get into that space that was there to be exploited. And I just thought it was a really big mistake from Mikel Arteta. We've seen it from him a lot this season in terms of his in-game management. It's not been great. It's certainly an area that he needs to work on, and at the moment it doesn't really seem to be improving. The substitutions always seem to be late and a bit reactionary from Mikel Arteta, rather than doing it when he needs to and making early changes if he needs to. He tends to wait a little bit too long for me, and I certainly felt like that was a big mistake of his last night. We saw when they came on, eventually, Nicolas Pepe was only on the pitch for 12 minutes. He got his goal running into that space that was there all night long to be exploited, but it was a space that certainly Willian down the left wasn't able to exploit, because it's just not his type of game at the moment. Certainly the way he's playing since he's come to Arsenal, he's not going to play on the shoulder and get into that space. And I just thought it was really disappointing. I thought he got his team selection wrong, Arteta, and then during the game when he had the chance to correct that problem that looked pretty clear to us all, admittedly through untrained eyes, but still, we watch a lot of football, you can see where the area it was that Arsenal should have been targeting, and yet he just didn't. He waited too long to make that change, and I thought it was a big mistake for Mikel Arteta, and ultimately that played a big part in Arsenal not winning that game, because yes, massive individual errors at the end cost them. They got themselves in front and they still managed to throw it away. That you can't really blame Arteta for. That was down to the players. That was down to Gabriel making a mistake, down to Cedric making a mistake. Just poor game management. But the game was there to be put to bed way before that. And I just don't feel like Mikel Arteta made the changes he needed to ensure that his side could get the victory last night. Yes, they had the chances. Lacazette missed an absolute sitter. We know that. It was a dreadful finish. Even Orban, when he came on, he missed that chance. I said it before about Saka on the right-hand side. But so, yes, Arsenal had the chances. And had those gone in, you win 3-0, no one would really be talking about Arteta. But the fact is they didn't go in. And so I think everyone is right to be criticising Mikel in this one. It wasn't a very good night for him. And I think he's just as much to blame for that result as the players were. And yeah, this is what he had to say after the game. He said it was a big decision to leave some players out, and we decided to play the team we thought had the best chance at the start of the game. And as well, we had some key players there to change the game when we needed it. I think when they did come on, they had a real impact, which was very necessary in this competition, and they did what we expected them to do. When he was asked if he should have made those changes earlier, he said, well, we made them when we believed it was the right time to do it, and when they changed their setup and we believed we could hurt them, not earlier. Whether should have done it before then, who knows? I think we all know, really. The fact that Pepe was only on the pitch for 12 minutes and he already got himself a goal and caused those problems that he did, I think shows he should have been on the pitch for longer. And Aubameyang as well, for me. So not a very good night for Mikel Arteta and not a very good night for Arsenal. Another one who struggled last night, Thomas Partey, unfortunately not the best game from Arsenal's central midfield. He's struggling a little bit, Thomas Partey. I did think he was alright against Liverpool. I thought he was the best of a bad bunch in that game and was left hopelessly exposed without Xhaka by his side. But Xhaka was back yesterday and it just didn't work for Thomas Partey. He looked rusty, he looked nervy, he lost possession a lot. I think he's had a pass completion rate of just over 80%, which for Partey is very, very low. He lost possessions more times than he gained it. Again, for Partey, that is very strange. He's normally very, very good with the ball, and he normally turns over a lot of possessions by interceptions, by winning tackles. Just didn't quite happen for him last night, and you could kind of sense there was a nervousness about him. Whenever he got on the ball, there was a couple of opportunities in that second half when he got the ball, started driving forward, and he just didn't really know what to do with it. The confidence seemed to have drained out of him, and he didn't know if he should pass or what he should do. And in the end, he held onto the ball too long and was robbed, and then was caught out of position. Eventually, was replaced by Mohamed El-Neni in the second half as well, which I think said a lot about Partey's performance. It was a real struggle for him, and it is a worry. Look, Thomas Partey is a fantastic footballer. You don't do what he did for Atletico Madrid and not be a good footballer. He's shown it when he first arrived at Arsenal. You think back to those early games when he was fit, when he came in, the Man United game. He was very, very impressive. It's just these injuries have really hurt him now. I think they've totally knocked him out of his stride. It's knocked his confidence, and he's come back into the team when they're struggling. And at the moment, he's just not really being able to have the sort of impact that we all expected him to have. I'm not worried about Thomas now. I think Thomas certainly next season is going to be very, very impressive. I think the break in the summer is going to help him. It'll give him time to help it adjust again after what has been a very stop-start season for him. And I'm absolutely convinced he'll come good and prove to be the exact sort of midfielder that we all expected him to be when he arrived. But it was a difficult night for Thomas Partey last night, and he's such an influential figure for Arsenal. He's so important to them in the midfield that when he doesn't play well, the team is going to struggle. And unfortunately, yesterday he didn't play well, and Arsenal need to see more of him, certainly in the second leg. I wonder if he might get rested against Sheffield United on Sunday. It'll be interesting to see what sort of team selection Mikel goes for in that game, given how important the second leg now is and how much the game is on a knife edge. You do wonder if he's going to make big rotation for that Sheffield United game, and I wonder if Thomas will be one of those. But you would think he'll certainly play in Prague in the second leg, and he'll need to put in a much improved performance than the one he did last night, because he wasn't up to the sort of standards that we would expect from a player like Thomas Partey. Right, before I get on to player ratings, which obviously I didn't have time to do it last night, apologies. Bit tough last night. It was about 4 rewrites in what I was writing for my full-time piece, considering that first it looked like it was going to be a disappointing result. Then that all got ripped up. It looked like Arsenal were going to win, quickly writing it up in a bit more positive style. Then suddenly they conceded in the last kick of the game, delete it all, start over again. It all was a bit hectic, so I didn't have time to do my player ratings before Mikel Arteta's press conference started. So we'll do those at the end. But first, just on Martin Odegaard's injury, not great news on Martin Odegaard. Mikel's saying we don't know when he was going to be back. He said he wasn't able to play today and he will be out for at least the next 1 or 2 games.
but we don't know the extent yet. So not great for Odegaard. Obviously, he had that injury on international duty, played two full 90 minutes for Norway after that injury, and then he played the full game against Liverpool on Saturday as well. Whether that was a good idea, it doesn't look like it really was at the moment, especially considering Mikel Arteta has admitted that injury was picked up on international duty and he'd been struggling with it since he came back. So I wonder if Mikel was really regretting starting him in that game against Liverpool now. He was definitely missed last night. Martin Odegaard, we all know the quality that he brings. And Arsenal need to have him back sooner rather than later as we get towards the crucial stage of the season. Okay, player ratings time now from me. It's understandably not going to be the greatest of ratings here. Let me get the team up, shall we? We'll go with Bernd Leno in goal. I saw Bernd getting a bit of criticism for the goal. I think that's pretty harsh. He was so close to him. It was a powerful header. I think it's very, very hard to keep that one out. Unfortunately, there are a lot of people to criticise for that goal, but I thought Leno, perhaps that was a bit unfair to target him and say he should have done better. I'm going to give Leno a 6. Hector Bellerin did okay. I thought Hector, I've not too much to criticise Bellerin over 4. I'm going to give him a 6. I'm going to give the two centre-backs a 6 as well. I actually thought they played pretty well, Holding and Gabriel. Holding was kind of taking on the David Luiz role in terms of passing the ball out from the back. Sometimes he got it wrong, sometimes he got it right. The pass for Saka in the first half, which gave Saka that chance he should have scored, was very, very good from Holding. I'm going to give him a 6. I thought Gabriel had played pretty well up to the point right at the end when he should have cleared the danger. It was a dreadful first touch. Yes, it was a bad ball by Cedric, but it was a dreadful first touch by Gabriel, and that allowed the player to close it down and win the throw, and from there we all saw what happened. But on the whole, I thought it was a decent enough game from the two centre-backs. They both get a 6. I'm going to give Cedric a 5. I thought he struggled, unsurprisingly. That is a real issue for Arsenal, that left-back situation now with Kieran Tierney's injury. I wasn't surprised to see Cedric get the nod last night. I do wonder, given what we saw and given how it was clear, instead of wanting to use his left foot and clear his lines later on in that game, he chose to play it with his cut inside, play it with his right foot, and that's what played Arsenal into trouble that led to the goal. I do wonder if we might end up seeing Bukayo Saka playing there to give Arsenal a more natural left-sided option during the final weeks of the season. So I'm going to give Cedric a 5. Thomas Partey, I'm going to give a 4. I thought it was a really tough night for Thomas Partey. Disappointing performance from him. He gets a 4. Granit Xhaka, I'm going to give a 6. To Willian, I'm going to give a 4. Just didn't do it for me. Willian hit the post with a free kick, which was unlucky, but it just didn't cause their fullback enough problems. Didn't even seem to really try to cause their fullback enough problems. Kept coming, dropping deep, looking to get the ball. It was all a bit too slow for me from Willian, so he's going to get a 4. Smith Rowe, I'm going to give a 5 to. Not Smith Rowe's greatest performance by any means. Bukayo Saka, beginning to look a little bit tired. Saka should have scored in the first half. 100% was still Arsenal's biggest threat by an absolute distance. However, I'm going to give Bukayo a 6. Lacazette, dreadful finish for that chance when he went through one-on-one. Really had to score. No excuse at the post. Had to put that on target. He only gets a 4 for me as well. In terms of the subs, tough to score them because I didn't really get any game time. Martinelli was on for the longest. He had one shot which was tipped over. Looked pretty bright when he came on, but I can't really give him too much of a score. Pepe, fantastic impact, scored the goal, great finish, but only on the pitch for 12 minutes. If I was going to give them a rating, I'd give Pepe a 6. Let's give Pepe a 7 just for his goal, because no one else could finish and he showed that he can, so he'd get a 7. The likes of Aubameyang, Martinelli, I'd probably give a 6 to. Good assist from Aubameyang. Should have scored though before that, when pretty much his first touch, so I'll give him a little bit of leeway, but still should have scored. Anyway, that's it from me for today's video. Thank you for watching. I hope you're not too disappointed after what you saw last night and you can still get out and enjoy the start of the weekend. The sun's out anyway, so that's one thing to be happy about. Until then, everyone, have a very good day. I'll speak to you very, very soon.